Welcome to lesson number 1. My name is Mark Plapper. I will be instructing in the bass today. A lot of people use different kinds of basses. I personally prefer a 5-string. I've been using it a lot longer than I have any of the 4 strings I have. With the 5-string though, it was a little bit of a different way of looking at things too. Also allows you a bit more freedom, a bit more movement. With the 5-string though, knowing the strings, you have the regular on the bottom, you have the regular 4 strings that are on a regular 4-string bass. You have your G on the very bottom, you've got your D, you have your A in the middle, your E right on top of that, and right above that, you have your B. Now this bass here is actually not my real playing bass. This is more of one I just used to show what I'm doing. This is B here is all kind of whacked out up here on the fret. That's why you get that little sound in there. A quick way, easy way to remember the order of the strings is think of the word bead as in beads on a necklace, and then G. You have your B, E, A, D, then your bottom G. That's a quick, easy way to remember the different names of the strings. Working your way up, each of these is only a half step up. So going up and your B here, it's just like a piano. So that means there's not going to be anything in between B and C. So it goes straight from B to C, then to C sharp, or D flat, however you look at it, depending on which key you're in. Then you have D, D sharp, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, and then you're up a whole octave back to B. And with this bass, this actually goes up 2 whole octaves. So you got 1 octave here, and then another octave down here on bottom. So you can do that order twice through. And then the next one just starts at E, and then the one beneath that starts at A, D, and then G. When you're walking through this, the first thing I would teach is going to be major scales, because major scales are the most important thing ever. They're going to run through everything else you do. When you're a piano player, they're going to run through all the chords you form. When you're a bass player, it's going to affect the runs you do. It's going to affect just in what order you're going to play things. Just knowing where you're at, and knowing, because of the scale you're playing, I can play it easiest in this position rather than in this position, making it a lot easier on you. And also just being able to be aware of where you're at on the fretboard as well. When you're forming a major scale, I'm just going to start at random. No, I'm going to start here at G on your E string here. Gives you a bit more room. That my B string is kind of whacked out right now, so I'm going to start at E right below that. You always want to make sure you're starting higher up for the strings, like B, E, or A. Anything lower than that, and you're not going to have room to really complete the pattern I'm about to show you. You want to at least have 3 strings length to complete this pattern. So we're going to start here at G. It's going to be your 1. And those of you who don't know anything just yet, there's a system called the Nashville number system. When you're running through your scales, there's only 8 notes in each scale, and it goes from G and it's going to end on another G. Each one of those notes, and each one of those points in the scale, is going to have a number associated with it, 1 through 8. That's going to be able to help you when you're transposing in between different keys. So somebody's going to start out in the key of G, like we're doing the G major scale. When they say the key of G, they're referring to the major scale. When they're saying G minor, they're referring to the G minor scale, and we'll get to that in a little bit, probably later on. Not quite just yet. So we're going to start with the major scale. Your G is going to be your 1. You're going to go up to your A, which is going to be your 2. You're just going to go down a string, and you're going to start a fret up from where you started originally. This is going to be your 3. This is going to be your B. 1 fret up to your C. 2 frets down to your D. Now you're going to go up another string. That's why I said this pattern requires a bit more movement. You're going to start again at that 1 fret above where you started. It's going to be your E, your 6. Your 7 is going to be 2 down. It's going to be at F sharp. And then back to your 1 at G. Or 8, sorry, some people call it. When they refer to 8, that generally means they want you to play higher up. Get the higher tones rather than lower tones. That's your G major scale. I got a piece of paper right now, but I'm just going to run through that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. And that completes your major scales. And your major scale is probably going to be the most important out of all this. One thing you might want to do before even continuing on from this point in the lesson is to actually take the time, take a piece of paper, write 5 lines through it, sideways, long ways, and then mark through it 12 times. And that's going to be the number of frets in here that takes you a full octave. And then that'll help you go through and name each one of those sections and help you know where in relation all the notes are to each other. That'll save you a lot of time when it comes to actually playing live, just knowing where everything's at, being able to play it productively. And that's more the music theory side of things. Getting on to more the mechanical side of playing things, when you're playing, you always want to make sure you're in a comfortable position. Make sure you have a nice loose strap, because if your arm is like way up high like this, your elbow is going to get so cramped out and it's going to kill you for days. Trust me, I know. And always make sure you have a place to rest your thumb. And this is going to be not just as much a resting place as a place to mark. The more you get to playing, you're going to have that muscle memory built up to where all the strings are without ever having to actually look down at your hands. This is going to help you a lot when you're playing live, or if you're playing for one of those churches where they give you the sheet music last second and you're just practicing right before church and you don't have time, like days ahead of time, to memorize it and things like that. This is definitely going to come in handy when it comes to situations like that. Just that muscle memory built up, and you also have a marking place then, right in here, is usually where I do it at least. So I have a marking place of where I'm going, that way it's consistent every single time I play. And then of course, using your fingers instead of your thumb. If using your thumb, it requires a lot more movement. You got nothing really to be consistent with where you're placing your hand. And then on top of all that, if you're using your thumb, you're going to wear out your thumb really fast. With the fingers, you're able to just slide right over it quick and easy. With the fingers, you also have use of multiple fingers, which means you're not using one the entire time. And if you're a beginner and you're using one the entire time, that finger is going to get really blistered up really bad, which is why I would definitely suggest starting out using multiple fingers when you play. That way, anytime you do play, you're less likely to get blisters. And going on from there, also making sure with your left hand up here that when you're playing, you're pressing down really nice and tight. You get a nice firm sound. I don't know if you can hear that very well. I'm not plugged in. Whereas if I were playing very loosely, you get that buzzing sound in there that gets really obnoxious. That will also carry through your amp as well. And it just annoys people so much. So do this all a favor, work on your hand strength, get some buff fingers, and have fun with this. Let's see here. I think we got enough time to go through minor scale. Now minor scales are actually going to be even easier than your major scales because the pattern is a lot more consistent when you're playing. And for those of you that still have not yet gotten the major scale down, go back to that section of the video and make sure you get that down. Your major scales are important. Your minor scales, though, will also help you when you're playing through sometimes hymns or when you're starting to go into the minor keys. I do know a lot of hymns, though, that they just like to float around those minor keys. Excuse me. Especially when they start getting a bit more gospel-y. That's when you can really throw in a lot of those minor scales rather than your major scales, which is a lot more fun. So, for your minor scale, I'm just going to start at G again because that's a good, nice, solid place to start for me. You have your 1, your 2, you go down a string, a whole fret above, 3, 4, 5, down another string, 6, 7, 8. And that pattern is really going to help you keep more within the same area instead of having to go all the way up the string when you're playing. This will help you to know where everything's at in relation. I'm going to show you that pattern one more time just so you can see it a bit more clearly, hopefully. You're starting off on your E string on that G there, 3 frets in. Here, 1, 2, down a string and up another fret from where you originally were. 3, 4, 5, down another string. 6, 7, and 8, or your 1, depending on how you like to refer to it as. That should be about it for today. I think that's a good, quick, easy lesson, and that'll take you through a lot. If you go back through this video, that'll really teach you a whole lot. Just skim back through it, practice everything you just learned. Make sure you're writing out all your notes along the whole fret, and that will definitely help you when it comes time to playing live and knowing where all your notes are in relation to each other, so when you're flowing, when you're playing live, you're just able to flow right through instead of trying to go all the way down the string to find where your note's at, which is really long and unbelievably complicated. So do us all a favor, know your notes. God bless you. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully it was beneficial to somebody. I'm gonna try and come out with another lesson video shortly, a bit more advanced stuff I've learned over the years. And just a word of caution, I'm not the most advanced bass player out there. For those of you looking for somebody to follow and look up on YouTube, Victor Wooten is on YouTube, and he's somebody who is just incredible. Just watching him work, dude's amazing. He does some of the most unbelievable stuff. He's a good one if you're looking for cover videos to look at. There's also, what's his face now? Andrew Kuntz. Andrew Kuntz is out of Texas. Those of you who've ever heard of Railwood Church, he plays along with Daniel Bernard, people like that. As far as resources, definitely watching YouTube videos has really helped me. Once you can get on your notes and you know what you're doing, definitely going and watching those videos, watching their technique, learning something new every day. One thing that's always good to have is somebody who's better than you to look at and watch and learn from, and just allow them to teach you by watching what they do. And hopefully this has helped, and I will try to come back again with another video just like this, helping all those wanting to learn to play the bass. For now, God bless you. Like, subscribe, have a nice day, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week when I do this again.